these guys are like, what the fuck? The fuck is wrong with this guy? And it all kind of, the way they did it, or maybe the way it was all very tense. And it's like, wow, these guys are going to kill him soon.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. He's amazing. Uh,
yeah,
the courage he has is pretty crazy.
yeah,
I mean, you've got security, you've got all these things, so that helps a bit, but you still have to have that idea, which is insane. I
yep,
mean, just everything he does, like when he brought the poop out of the in Borat, and he's like, "Where do you put the poop?" Just all these little taking a dump on the street, like
yep,
you're gonna
yeah.
get fucked up here and there. It's like,
Where do I make of the shit?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I really like. I don't know a lot about. I don't really. I shouldn't say I don't care, but I mean, we have a lot of other things going on in life. I'm aware, obviously, of a lot of shit going on there. I'm no expert, but I did do a little
weirdly, I'm
research.
no expert either. That's weird. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, it's okay. We're no expert squared. But
Right.
so I tried to do a little research on that,
I
and
did too.
then I decided I really didn't give a shit. No, no, it's just it's this whole the way I understand it. Of course, people always talk about these situations, and they're really not truly talking about countries. They're talking about whoever governs the country, right? They're not when you talk about Israel, you're not talking about the people of Israel. You're talking about who rules Israel, who sets policy, who because here people why do people not like Americans? Because of American government policies, foreign policies, things like I mean, there's a lot of asshole Americans, a lot of asshole people everywhere, but for the most part, like in that situation, there's innocent civilians on both sides that
Yeah.
have they're just trying to live their life, be happy, eat, shelter, and then you've got the extremists. The government's an extreme unit, as are the terrorists. Governments are terrorists. They just do it under the guise of government.
Yeah.
So it's of course I don't agree with any of it. Like even us going into Iraq the way we did, and all these things that we do in America, but then going in the way they did, the Hamas and fucking just
Yeah.
just slaughtering babies and
Yeah.
people and just cuz, right? And then I
Yeah.
find out that ever since because when they created Israel, it was to create peace, right? Because there's so much tension between Arabs and everyone else. And
Yeah.
so then they've offered them their own land, way more land than Israel, three times, and each time they've said no because they would have said, "Okay, we'll give you what you want for peace." No,
Five times.
they don't want the Jews to have anything. Is the way I've learned. It's just they don't want to agree to have Israel and Palestine because they've already. I posted a video about it, the stuff that I found, which was interesting, and it was just a very educational video, not an opinion piece. It was just guy very factual. Here's what happened. Here's what happened. Here's what happened, and they've denied it all three times. So people say,
Well, I
"Well,
think I saw this, maybe the same one.
okay,
I, I, I had to research it too because I'm no expert and I didn't know what the fuck was going on there. And I just remember over the years since I was a kid, there's always been a problem there. Uh, and then you find out since the beginning of time pretty much. But, um, every few years there'd be some kind of fucking bombing and horrible fucking violence in the Middle East. And quite often it was Palestinians and Israelis. And that's all I really knew about it. And then this happened. And I'm like, wow, that horrible shit hasn't happened in a long time. And then I found out how horrible it was. I'm like, wow, that's really, I mean,
I
it's barbaric. It's fucked up.
yeah,
It's just animal fucking, it's just horrible. And then I'm like, well, I've also been hearing a lot of stuff the last couple of years from different people about how horrible the Israelis have been to the Palestinians. The Gaza Strip is basically an open air prison. Like they can't go anywhere. And then
and
so
now it's
I looked,
leveled.
and now it's leveled. Yeah. So I was like, okay. I saw a thing that sounded like the one you saw. This guy said, like, he was just like, oh, there's only one side will say there are not two sides to this. It's only one side. It's easy. And then they'll list all their things and like, yeah, they offered 5 times to the Palestinians to have their own land and they refused it. And they want all Jews dead and blah, blah, blah. And so it's like, wow, that's really harsh. And okay. And then I saw a couple more like that. And then I started to look a little further, and I found some from the other side saying, well, Israelis have been starving the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip for many years now. They won't let them have their own water supply, and they won't give them enough water. If they try to make their own like wells and create their own water, get their own water, they blow it up, or they won't let them have it. So they're malnourished. They're dehydrated for years now. They're trapped. Most of them live in poverty since 2005, I think. Just a really horrible situation there, and once in a while they'll lob bombs over there too. I guess goes both ways, but it's really fucked up on both sides. And then they will say, like, there's a bunch of reports saying, well, this is only one-sided, not two-sided, but it's from the opposite point of view. So obviously it is two-sided. Like there's horrible shit going on both sides, and now these Israelis have attacked them and now killed like hundreds of thousands of women and children, just like they just did. So it's like, what the fuck?
And I understand, like, I understand both sides, the plight, like people like pro-Palestine, absolutely. But that's that. Well, I shouldn't say that because absolutely is wrong. My big beef with everything is the whole thing about labels and borders and bullshit, because it's a religious fucking problem.
It's a religious problem,
and it's people
fundamentally.
not being conscious enough to just fucking share this earth. We're all fucking humans. Forget about all these labels, and it's just, and that's why do we have all this anger in the States? Because of labels. It's like, oh, I'm this is my pronoun, or you need to do this or that. You're so caught up in labels. Why don't you just be a human being? Go do your thing, what you enjoy, be a productive member of society, however that is. Maybe for you, that's sitting on the I don't care what it is, as long as you're not hurting people,
Yeah.
But everyone is so caught up in a fucking label that they'll never get anywhere until we get rid of labels. Because it'll always be Arabs and Jews and Christians and over there and all this stuff, and the Muslims. And
I agree.
And it's just never going to fucking change until we all just work together as humans. That's the only way through this. There will never be, because you can sign an agreement. You think everyone's just going, oh, they signed the agreement, I'm on board. No, they're still who they are inside. They're still, and this is generational. These are old cultures. This is deep. I mean, there's some people that believe like trauma will live 10 generations in your DNA. I can kind of believe that because actually our little cat, Alex, he's an alley cat. Although he's been with us his whole life now and he's always got a meal, he's an alley cat. He's a scavenger. The other cats are fine. They're but he's got it in his, he was born on the border of Mexico and the States. Someone found him and he's a lot of fun, but you could tell he's wired. And it takes a long time to undo this. So not only, even if they had peace, you have to have something more than just an agreement. You have to have like a consciousness. Everyone just like, hey, the betterment of mankind. We're all in this together. But people just don't do that. And especially the powers that be, they don't want us to think like that because then they lose control, right? And that's the thing. Everybody wants control. But if you let go of labels, you just say, you can't control me now because I'm not under your labels. I'm not I'm just a human being. But people are trapped there. I mean, it's not like they can just up and leave either, and go to a place that's a little more holistic or something. It's just really sad because I really don't see the way out,
No. Fucked.
And you can't really say a lot. It's really hard to talk about Israel without everyone else. It'll just be like if you say, oh, I don't like that. Oh, you're, what do they call it? Transphobe. So now you're an anti-Semite if you say anything negative towards anything that a Jew does. I know lots of Jewish people. My daughter's last name is Cohen. I was a little nervous on Friday, because they had those. I don't know if you heard about the threats here. Well, Hamas did a worldwide thing, right? So, but Phoenix was fine.
There were threats here too. There were threats here too.
Nothing happened, but I told Celine, I said, hey, if you guys are going out, stay away from malls and don't go to the movies. And I said, there's a lot of Jewish. Scottsdale's a huge Jewish community. And so I mean, they got lots
There's a
of,
big Jewish community here too.
yeah. And it's crazy because we're such a small amount of people. I'm like, well, you're the big, you control a lot though. I mean, you have maybe you're a small minority or a minority, but you have people in all the right places. So actually you're a majority because 10 people without a voice, one person with a voice, and that's what they hold, these positions of power. And and
Yeah.
honestly, I've honestly met a lot of scumbag Jews, but I've met a scumbag everybody. But that guy I helped out, the old man, he was Jewish, went to Harvard, Oxford, and then fucked over a bunch of people, and that he was part of the fucking Black Friday in 1989. He went to prison for 5 years. But I mean,
Wow.
he did 9 figures of fucking fraud, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, ripped people off and shit like that just to line his own fucking pockets. And there's a lot of that in that community, and that's what people. But you're not allowed to say anything, And so there's a mentality, there's a superior mentality because they're the chosen people, right? And if they get all religious, that psychologist I wouldn't say dated, but she was an expert on. She's Jewish, and so she would educate me, and it was interesting. Like it was interesting to hear like someone who was so well educated about Jewish tradition, religion, everything like that. She's just telling me about the culture, and she goes, "Oh, your daughter's not Jewish, you know that, right?" I said, "Yeah, I know that because you get it from the father's side." So even though her mom is part Jewish, doesn't make her Jewish. But she goes, if we were running out of Jews, they would probably let her. They'd probably make an exception or something like that. And that shows how superficial and stupid it all is, right?
Yeah.
So, but it was interesting to talk to her. But she was a nutcase too, and but of course they're everywhere. If I say that person was Jewish, like, oh, you're an anti-Semite. No, I just happen to mention that person is psychotic and they happen to be Jewish, but I didn't say they're psychotic because they're Jewish,
Yeah.
And I didn't say that guy was an asshole because he's Jewish. He was an asshole because he's a greedy motherfucker who happened to be Jewish, who
Mm.
screwed over a lot of people. And it was weird because he didn't tell me. I was just one day we were just chatting. I thought, I'm going to Google his name. And I was like, holy fuck. And I never brought it up to him, it was a long time ago for him. But,
Yeah.
it's a weird thing. So, like, and even it wasn't it's a prime minister in Israel, right? I don't think they
Yeah.
call him president. I think it wasn't he the one that was kind of pushing the war in Iraq, saying that there was weapons of mass destruction. I think it was Israel anyway that was
I'm no
saying
expert. I don't remember.
there is no doubt that they are building weapons. Like he was the one that really pushed Bush and everybody into this war. So it was interesting
Okay.
because then that creates this the fucking whatever in the Middle East. Now you got a bunch of Americans there, but you're also a disturbance. And I don't know, it just seems like there's all these games that are played by people who know each other, like that post I put, and here we are, people who don't know each other dying, killing people they don't know because of all the people that know each other who won't
Yeah. Yeah.
do what's good for everybody because they don't care. They really don't care because they're all protected. They're in bunkers. They're fine, you know.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah. It's
the
pretty
yeah,
fucked. Everybody's kind of, most of the countries seem to be jumping on the bandwagon with Israel, and you can see the one side of it, which makes sense, but they don't talk about both sides. Like there isn't, like there
yeah.
aren't two sides.
And why bomb everybody? That's a human rights violation. That's a war crime. I mean, you
Yeah,
can't
just
just drop
children.
flyers from the sky and expect a million people to fucking start moving. Where are they going to go to? How
They have
about you
nowhere to
send in
go.
special forces and you start taking care of it one at a time? You don't go and just accept casualties of war and
Yeah,
just because. Well, that was a
we
horrible
suggest
attack.
that 1.2 million of you leave the country. Well, you won't let them leave. Egypt won't let them leave. Nobody will let them through the border. So
And where
uh,
and even if they could, like, what do they do? That's a fucking, it's an insane amount of people to just expect something
yeah,
like that. And if you don't leave, we're gonna kill you. That's
yeah,
that's that ain't right. That's not right. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Jews, Arabs, whatever. You just like, but it's even like
yeah,
us going to Iraq and just fucking annihilate, like more civilians there killed than obviously were ever impacted by 9/11 and all these other things. I mean, they're just the casualties there. It's
yeah.
insane. And
Yeah.
and so we're no better. So for us to be the voice of reason is ludicrous. Like we should just shut the fuck up, mind our own business, offer support. However, but actually you can't support it. You shouldn't support it because then you're saying these other people's lives aren't valuable, and they're
Yeah.
not worth anything because we're allies with them. Israel is fucking. I mean, they're small, but they're very powerful, very rich. They have a lot of fucking technology. They have everything. They
They
need to
must.
take care of
They
themselves.
must. They keep defeating. They have for like over a century. Keep defeating everybody else around them, the
Yeah,
Palestinians and Arabs and well,
yeah,
everybody.
yeah. It's. I don't know. Not a funny topic.
No,
Hard,
not really. Not really.
hard,
No.
hard to.
What were our other topics?
Um, you had another one there. Flat
Yeah,
Earth. We were going to talk about flat Earth, I think, too. But
flat Earth. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's one.
did you see the eclipse, or did they? Could you see it up there? Probably not, eh? Yesterday.
Well, I wasn't up that early
Uh,
because I was told yesterday that, like, I guess if you were up at like 8 in the morning or something, 9. Yesterday, was it yesterday morning or the day
yeah,
before?
yesterday. Here it was
Yesterday.
at 9:31 was when it was like the
Oh,
Ring of Fire.
right. Yeah, I was not up that early, so I didn't check it out. I didn't even know about it.
I didn't
So
either. My friend goes, "Hey, come outside and check out the eclipse." I thought he bought a new car, you know.
yeah,
And I went outside. I'm like,
new
"Damn!" Like it
Mitsubishi.
was so bright and crazy. And I like, "Oh, this is." And I couldn't. You obviously. I mean, I can look at the sun on a normal day, but it's weird how the eclipse is so weird, different. And
Yeah,
um, and so then I used my camera a little bit, so I could see the eclipse on my camera through like lens flare and shit. And then
yeah,
he had a welding mask, so then I looked up through the welding mask. And he goes, I didn't even know what was going on. I was at a garage sale and they had this welding mask. How much for this? $3. And he goes, okay. He wanted to see how good it was. And he's like, oh shit, there's an eclipse. And there's all these ladies there, and they go, can I look? Can I look? Can I look? And it was
wow.
like it was pretty cool. It was just an accident. So then, and he has like he does welding, so he has a really good mask. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty. I don't recall ever being around. As a kid, I think I remember once an eclipse like that, and the math teacher let us go outside with these things to look up at it.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, there were math things that you hold to make, like it was kind of like a mirror, but it was a dark plastic mirror. He goes, oh, you
Yeah,
can go look through this. I mean, it wasn't for looking at the. Probably some kids got some fucking burned retinas and shit.
probably.
What happened to
Or
your eyes? Yeah, math.
just do like Trump. Just look up at it for like 10, 15 seconds. Just check it out.
Yeah.
You don't need any special glasses.
Is that what he said? He just looked at it?
No, he just looked at it. Like, I don't know. I guess you don't remember the video, but they came out like onto one of the balconies from the White House, and he was just looking at it, just bare-eyed for a while.
I guess you spend that much time in a tanning bed, it's no big deal, right?
Yeah, I guess
He's
so.
always
Yeah.
got those fucking goggle tan lines. He is so hideous. It's like his orange.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't, yeah, it's orange. So it must be the spray. He must do the spray. So he wears
Oh yeah.
goggles and he sprays because it's bright of fucking orange.
Yeah, it's not a natural tan.
No.
And then you wanted to talk about your cancer after you got vaccinated.